ada di
ergon
sini,
trend
oke.
to my channel
Baru dari
creator
sana
star
kita
here.
kemungkinan akan
And
mendapati
as
lagi
usual,
bounce
every day I
minimal
go to
ke
videos
sekitaran
about
area
cryptocurrencies.
33.000
We will discuss
atau
coin
bahkan 3.
Parambi, and as usual, we will start from U-Market first per day. Globally market crypto diamond K1 Komodo $2013, or up about 0.4% profit. SAW himself was appointed 29,700 Anastream 1,788 BNB 297 for 0.56 SRP 0, 39 Molana 38, and .coinadder Z10 with a price of $0.08. Or have we seen the market a little green? Yes, the increase can be 0. a few percent, so that there are more or less 3% over flour. Only Solana usually only increases 0.1%. The same 1% debt cash color 3.20 will go to $38,000, or it is app lock. While from the current protocol, we first go into some news and the latest today. I make the first mention be gone long form holders make distribution which preset Bitcoin price bottom, and here are two data that I think are quite important for you to know. The first is this is a long-term holder Shopier from this simple moving average 30 now. If you look at every time we enter a bear market, usually the last phases are the long-term holders, or those long-term holders as related to relationships or long-term relationships. There are also some term holders who give up and sell in a state of loss. Now if you look at this is the line. Yes, this is the neutral line here, one when the junior high school was above this area. The high school was yellow when the junior high school was above 1.
25.000. Ini
The
adalah
long-term
areanya.
holder is selling in a
Kotak
profit.
birunya di sini.
Whereas if, for example, we are under
Tapi
number 1
catatannya
then
adalah
API
selama kita
is
mampu
long-term, the
maintain di
folder is
atas
selling in
harga
a
ini.
loss state. It can
Kalau kita
also
ada
be
drop lagi di bawah
assumed that when the
30.000, itu adalah
long-term
pertanda
holder
besar
sells
bagi
in a
saya
loss state,
bahwa
we usually
kemungkinan
have entered the final
seller sudah
capitulation
kembali
phase.
memegang.
Okay, this is proven. Bear market, when long-term holders are also bastards, they sell in a loss condition. So it's not just the folder ready and newbies who finally give up because the market keeps getting worse. But sometimes when we enter the final phase of the market, the Tom holder ROM are supposed to become diamond hands. Some are starting to get rich. Okay, I've given up, I'm tired, so I'll just wait and sell. Usually when this happens, it's a sign that the D market is almost finished. But here's the historical data. First here, if you noticed, we found a landslide holder selling in your condition for a month land deck before we finally building the momentum upwards and we reach a new cycle. The 2017-2018 cycle is the same as when we found a drop here, and we see the long-term folder has also started to stop selling in a loss state, which has marked Badam from being dignified. At that time, oh God, hopefully it will happen in 2020 when there is a crash caused by intimate kavana. We also see that there is a big correction that has taken place and see that the long-term folder is also partly related to relationships or selling in a state that is lost, and then we start again up. For now, we only just penetrated a little, guys. We penetrated this area. That's the best time to accumulate, right? And if, for example, let's take a look below H again. This is data that shows net transfers of Fullium transfers from and to exchanges. So these are outgoing and incoming transfers to the exchange. Well, for example, if it is calculated from November to now, there are around minus 3,283 Bitcoin. So overall, we have averaged it in the last few months. That's transfers in and out of excess. It's still most of the outgoing. Does that mean there's still around net flow out minus 23,000 if we subtract that between what's pulled out and what's taken in? So the more that has been pulled out is 23,226 Bitcoins. So we can interpret that too, that it is true that until now, we are still seeing that when I was still happening. Yes, so that is the first article. This second e-learning is also a sweater related to what we saw earlier. What once Pollers said here is interesting to note that the presence of Bitcoin supply held by new holders 0 to 6 step to the lowest level ever during degenerates 200. So now we see that the parasite holder is at a very, very low number. Yes, it is raised to 23.1%. This means that the coin holder debit is best is stronger than everyday SPA holder. Now it looks very strong. Tom the dry Regis folders, both retail and new investors, have been busy for a long time. This recapitulation is aimed at earlier in this data that people who bought it for approximately 0-6 months, aka only about half a year of the Bitcoin novel, on average, have sold all the lists. There are only 23.1% left. The rest are already parallel holders. All of this, yes, we can see from the previous data, yes, was being sold is no longer about the Tom holder, But even a few long-term folders are sold in a state that is lost because tell the holder that the air is gone. Guys, the newbies are panicking, and then it's like screaming that's how it is. Bitcoin to scam. The icon will know because it's Ponzi, and they will get out of the market as soon as possible because maybe they buy it at the top, buy 69,000, sell it at RP 30,000 because they are frustrated, bro, because they lost a lot of money, especially if they are the ones who buy it. Admit it automatically, it's natural. Actually, guys, they feel a little frustrated because maybe they haven't learned what cycle is in cryptocurrency. They just enter because they hear the words of people under the rock going up and down, keto, it's the best asset, and so on. Then without anything further analysis, they go straight to the market, and that is usually what is quite trapping like that, and unfortunately, of course, people who usually enter just for these reasons usually won't last long in the crypto world. Okay, even though their Capania goes up, they probably won't survive either long time to what, guys, because they don't know emotion S colors, where it's because they think they study the cycle, they only know they want to lean, so when they are prettier, they usually come out. So if, for example, you invest in the crypto world, make sure first, guys, you study the cycle, you learn the technology. Up or down, you can vote for the long term, that weekend, not only when it doesn't go down again. So also when you go up, it just goes up a little. Don't know where it has to come out. You didn't learn about it. So while Bitcoin is in a very boring state and most likely a credible market, please take a little of your time to learn a little more about it. What are you investing in? Your mental effort will also be stronger, I see, even though high, and the last one is actually not an evil expert from me. This is not my field, but I just want to talk about it. But this is a calculation based on Edelweiss, yes. And if, for example, there is an error, and if, for example, friends who are also fans of Elliott Way have a different view, feel free to give me a comment. Who knows, I also learn new things from you, but if it's from Proof of Steve and says his calculations are like this, guys, this started from a 2011, yes, this is the first web according to him, then the second was the 34th, and the fifth was, as you also know, that Wi-Fi is adopted for the completion of the web, it's usually 5, yes, 1-5, then we find there is a 2WF correction, then we continue again to the new cycle now. According to him, let's go now, it's still on webcam 4, guys, the first was count is here on the desktop. Bonsai was caught in 2017 yesterday, 2 of them were from bad and bear market in 2019, then the third was when we touched the 69,000 area yesterday, then the fourth web is now yes, and according to Prof. Steve, we probably still have the fifth was Aka, the last web before us. Barbarian enters the bar market and repeats the duet sport like this. Okay, and he also does calculations like that from my time to the cycle, the longer it takes if you pay attention to the longer the cycle. So this also slightly supports the lengthening cycle theory that we have discussed. Also, the previous few months, how do we see from time to time, because the volatility is also getting lower high than the market cap is getting bigger, it will be very difficult to move, more difficult to move than from cycles a lot, or there are, as analysts say, we are likely to see the cycle getting longer, that's yes, and if we look at it historically, this is reflected, right, that the first time we saw it was 11 months before we entered a bar market. Then the next cycle we occupy 29 months, then here I am third 49 months, and if, for example, I am fourth, yes, automatic, it should also be longer. Yes, now we are already 63 months. Previously, the last was 49. We will count, yes, it's more or less from me to the cycle from 2011-2013. Here we have increased by 40%, here, it's more or less 42%. That's it. So it might come up quite interesting, and it could be useful for you. For example, if you are an LWF user, do you agree with this calculation, or do you have a different view? You can know your comments in the comments column below. Hi, okay, so it has been in the form of data and news today. By conveying to you now, we are going into the Bitcoin chord, and I want to start from the Delicat first. So today, we are still literate Bitcoin, straggling it, guys, to go back up, and Biotin, the momentum is up. We see the volume is also still very small from last Saturday. Now we are in the area 29,700, and Dan, one thing that people rarely discuss about Delicat is that, in fact, we have found a kind of bullish divergence here. Hi, this is a lower low. For example, if you look at the cross, it is higher. You see? Yes. And if we look at historical data, Actually, the driver's deliver is very powerful last ethnicity. If you notice, there is a divergence when it was still happening when we were at the top here. Okay, indeed, we formed high, but on the indicator we formed a lower high, and this caused us to drop back down. Yes, so it was the last big divergence here to the same if you pay attention to the main here. Yes, it is we actually formed a lower low high deck, but indicators have clearly formed the high low, and in the end we rallied here too. We started stop building momentum. But at Arjo we saw that there was a divergence. While seeing it constantly made Hayden think we found it's a big correction. So we can see the actual data for the DVD L Bitcoin driver is quite powerful, yes. And I still expect that the release will still be there. So the generator list will still reach 33-34, but between that, yes, we are going to touch that area now, okay, or are we going to pick up the people who are long around here, okay, to maybe repeat the iPad, which is similar to what happened here, and where we pause then drop to pick up good people around here, come back, we just went up again, you all can happen here, to Najita, will probably return to C circle is 34-36 plaque, okay, and from there we will see again. Our pharmacy is actually in Badam, or we will still drop again from the price action line process. Maybe it won't be reflected like that, so for the time being we still have to see what happens next. Now, if we look at the smaller TV, maybe it's more clearly painted on this one. Yes, yesterday we found there was a line of flags like that, and then we dropped it, and this time we got it right. Flag guys, okay, and this is actually a Paris veteran, yes, that's it. And when we, for example, the breakdown of this flag, most likely we will return to the revised support area at least. Here, which is around 28,600, and so right now, actually if you are Edward, we have stopped building bullish divergence where we have found your PD indicator. Found the high low done, especially by Steven this afternoon, but for a while price action of course, we still see Bitcoin making the pattern right. The contingent of sensors, I can still see Bitcoin Tedrock again one time here, yes. It's possible to make a new lower low again. And I'm still expecting the possibility that we will see the developer continue to allow the device, and from here, maybe we will get a few more banks, okay. So this is what I'm expecting right now, so yes, so for the time being maybe Sunday, we won't get meaningful moves, maybe tomorrow we can see volatility a little bit back, and the next or one is the possibility we make another one lower that's low, yes. And if we continue to make perceptions like this, where we find a decline that continues to crawl downwards like this, actually if we are Friday corrective farmers, yes, and it could form a kind of folding, watch me already, this means that we will also have a chance for camping ollie goes up. Yanti depends on what kind of please action, but if for example we find the drop is very impulsive, okay, then immediately bridge as happened here, okay, we immediately break down the trailer. Here we also break straight away like this, and then we consolidate it again to test Arani using fancies, call for me to short what I have said if for example we are able to break from this trend, then at the same time breathe from the area. Here according to him, there will be no more obstacles for Bitcoin to return to testing the wow area. Before it was around 25,400, and okay, so that's it for today guys, thank you for watching until the end. Hopefully today's video is useful, and we will meet again in the next video. Bye bye.